The Engineer is a defensive class that supports his team with sentries, dispensers and teleporters. Without his buildings he becomes the slowest 125 HP class with no gimmicks. In medieval mode the Engi-Man only has 5 melee weapons and most of their upsides revolve around his buildings. In this video I will be rating these weapons based on how good they perform in a 1 vs 1 and in synergy with your team. The Southern Hospitality cannot random crit and makes your enemies bleed on hit. Trading the ability to kill light classes in a single random crit for some small bleed damage is not worth it though. Demo Man can also simply right click to remove the bleed. The additional 20% fire vulnerability does not matter a lot, but it is another downside. Engineer's worst weapon in medieval mode, F tier. This weapon hits 15% faster but has a 25% damage penalty. It can still random crit and a faster attack speed means more hits, and more hits mean more chances for a random crit. The Jag is okay, but if you do not manage to get a crit, this weapon now needs 5 hits to kill a soldier or demo man and 7 hits to kill a heavy. That's bad. This weapon can random crit, but because of the damage penalty you will deal just below 150 damage, leaving you unable to kill medics or gunslinger Engis with 1 hit. C tier. The Gunslinger is great on paper, it increases your health, and although it removes your ability to random crit, every third hit is guaranteed to be a critical hit. With the Gunslinger's guaranteed crit you can now kill heavies with 3 hits. But to get your guaranteed critical hit you need to not miss any hits, and there cannot be a delay of more than 1 second between each hit. That is way harder to achieve than just getting a random crit. This means that you can't simply store your hits and save a crit for a light class. Talk about false advertising. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage in a 1 vs 1 with any light class, because as long as they run a weapon that can random crit, you are at risk of being killed with their first swing, while you could have killed any scout, medic, sniper, pyro or engineer with 3 hits anyway, without the need for a crit on the 3rd swing. The health boost is appreciated, though it won't come up much. Now weapons with a 25% damage penalty like the Disciplinary Action and the Homewrecker need 4 hits instead of 3 to kill you. As a battle engineer enjoyer, it hurts to say this, but the Gunslinger doesn't deserve to be ranked higher than B tier. We are now engineering A tier. The wrench is the first weapon with no downsides. 65 damage per hit and 195 on random crit is very decent. Solid A tier. The Eureka effect is essentially the wrench because all of its upsides and downsides don't matter, except for the teleport to spawn effect. The teleport is neat, but the taunt takes 2 seconds and you will be especially vulnerable during that period. You probably won't be using this effect all too often, but it is an upside nevertheless. This is the tier list for the Engineer. The Engineer is a very low tier in medieval mode. He lacks speed, health and attack power and has no great gimmick that distinguishes him from other classes. His melees weren't designed to kill enemies, but rather to
solve practical problems. So
it's no surprise that he is not great in medieval mode. This video was a really short one because Engineer is the class with the least weapons in medieval mode. Big thanks for watching. My next video will probably be about the soldier or the spy. Stay tuned.